This may be controversial, but my opinion on this is very strong and informed because we just went through it in the last year. Trying to adopt or foster a dog in Canada, and I think it is mainly Canada, is borderline impossible. And I say just in Canada because I have seen multiple people on posts that have been shared of dogs that are looking for homes say, I've applied multiple times and like I have nothing wrong with me. I check out. I'm a great home. I'm like a no pet home if it's an only animal kind of a pet that's looking for a home. And the amount of times these people say that they've never heard back from rescues or humane societies or SPCAs in Canada is ridiculous. And they're like, wow, I got sick of waiting here, throwing myself at these rescues, SPCAs, humane societies, whatever, that I went to the States and I was able to rescue a dog like that. And I can attest to that. The last year, we were looking at finding a dog as a companion for our current dog. Our current dog, Hudson, grew up with my parents' dog when I had to live with them for a year when my husband was in basic training and doing his military training. So when we moved away and Hudson had to leave my parents' dog, he became lonely. So we were trying for a year to find him a companion. And might I add, the restrictions that these rescues, humane societies, whatever, are putting on animals is, I think, quite ridiculous. Because most of them don't even have an animal behavioralist working with them. So they just make assumptions based off of like one single interaction and then slap a restriction on an animal like only pet household or no other dogs or no other cats. When in reality, unless there is some type of aggression, and I mean aggression, like snarling, snapping, trying to attack, most animals can be worked with if they have an overexcitement or crazy puppy, kitten, whatever energy around another animal. And an animal behavioralist would 100% know that within the proper environment, with the proper training, proper tools, you can foster great relationships with pets that have never had experiences with other types of animals. But the first dog that we tried to adopt, she was a little micro pocket bully, whatever. And it seemed like everything was great. We met her. She was great. She was super sweet, absolutely tiny, like maybe 40 pounds, if that. And we have a German Shepherd. But they were like, oh, we haven't tested her on cats. And we have 3 cats. But they're pretty chill cats. And their deciding factor on not letting her go to our home was that this little dog, who probably, God knows, has never seen a cat in her life, just went excitedly up to the cat and was making pocket bully noises, which are like, ah! You know what I mean? And that was their deciding factor of, nope, she must not go to a home with cats. Like, she wasn't aggressive. She didn't show any negative emotions. But that was their decision, like right there. Nope, done. So we finally found, and we tried to foster, but that was a whole other story in itself. We finally found the dog that we have now. And that was in July. And finally, it was the same sort of an organization that we went to with the first dog. But they just kind of were like, the onus is on you to test her with your cats. Like, once you sign that paperwork, you're the owner, you're responsible, which 100%. And you know what? It could have bit us in the ass, but turns out she doesn't give a fuck about our cats. And our cats are just like, whatever. But it is so hard. Like, my parents, before they got their dog, they tried to rescue. They threw their name in for so many dogs. And my parents have 7 acres, fully fenced in backyard, dog door, like great situation. Every time they got passed up. And the SPCAs, humane societies, rescues, all they do is complain that nobody wants to adopt these dogs. But there's so many good people out there that are just throwing themselves at you, like trying to rescue. But these rescues make it so difficult, so hard, and they pass up so many good homes that are basically throwing themselves at them. So I don't believe a lot of it is the dog's fault. I believe it's the rescue's fault. Whereas I've heard from multiple people, go to the States, you can rescue a dog like in 2 days and bring it back to Canada as long as it's all vaccinated, blood work's all up to date, whatever. So this is why we have two sides of the story. We purchased Hudson, a puppy, because we knew we wanted to start out with a puppy. And honestly, we looked at all the rescues, and one, how hard is it to rescue a puppy? Everybody wants a puppy. Nobody's gonna let you get a puppy. Two, none of the rescues around even had puppies at the time. And that's ending up what my parents had to do too. Instead of being able to rescue, which they really wanted to do, they ended up having to purchase a dog from like a breeder. And, you know, now we're thinking eventually about getting a third dog. And we're like, okay, are we going to try the whole rescue thing again? Like, there's so many dogs that need homes. But it's almost like these SPCAs, these humane societies and rescues, they're not exactly working in the ways that they should be to the benefits of the animals. Like, I fully believe that as long as there's no aggression with the animal towards any other animals, and they're just overexcited, that should not black mark them against going into a home with other animals. That should just say, oh, they're extremely excitable, but, you know, as they get older, as you work with them, they'll learn. Because most of the animals in the shelters don't have any training, and they haven't been exposed to things other than a terrifying situation like being in a shelter. But I just get really frustrated with the whole SPCA thing because they don't actually have animal behavioralists working with them. It's just a bunch of people who love animals who see a slight reaction that are blacklisting all of these animals as only pet homes, no other dogs, no other cats, like, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. That's personally because I have a shepherd and Hudson was raised with our cats. He's still hella overexcited, but he's only 2 years old. I know that it's going to be a step-by-step process, and one day he's going to leave our cats alone. And, I mean, he doesn't do anything negative to them. He just wants to hump them, or he doesn't leave them alone. He just wants to be on top of them, kissing them, like, sniffing them, and our cats are just, like, old, and they're like, please leave me alone. But the willingness to work with your animal is a deciding factor as well.